Michael Sartain, why should people invest into their minds? Why should they be buying books, buying courses, going to events? Why should they get their minds right?
Man, there's some times when I wish I could take a year off and just like catch up on all the books that I've wanted to read. I've read 3 books this week, and I really love the idea. So I'm doing 75 hard, so I have to read 10 pages of a physical book. I'm reading Dr. David Buss's textbook on evolutionary psychology, and then I'm also listening to other audiobooks, and I've gotten really good, honed into about 2.5 speed, and if you really practice, you can get to 3.0. It's one of the reasons why I talk so fast. I have to slow down, is because I listen to audiobooks at triple speed. It's one of the greatest gifts I've ever had. You can absolutely, if I tell people this all the time, if right now you are making less money than an Uber Eats driver, quit your job, go drive for Uber Eats, put the AirPod in, the food doesn't need you to talk to it while you're delivering it, and listen to podcasts, YouTube videos, go to iTunes, go to Coursera, go to the Khan Academy. You can learn a skill set that can make you millions of dollars, that can create an ability for you to get a scalable business, or if nothing else, learn copywriting, learn how to code. There's so many things you can do. If anything, you need to be learning how to use ChatGPT, the functionality on that app, just so you can keep up with other people. I think there's so many opportunities that you have right now from reading, listening, and learning. And most of it's free. And if it's not free, it's like, I think the books on Audible are $12, like $12.35 or something like that. There's no excuse for you to not be reading enough. There's another thing you mentioned before about the S&P 500. I just want to tell people this. So as a fund manager, I'm going to tell you that 83% of active investors don't beat the S&P 500.
Sure.
And everyone thinks, well, that's not me. But people don't understand statistics. Most people who do active investing don't make as much money as the S&P 500. Right. So it's really difficult for people to grasp that because they don't like this idea of the sheep mentality. But the reality of the situation is active investors generally, because of sometimes from bid-ask spread and from costs, from slippage and things like that, they don't do as well. So I think it's really important. Instead, I would say invest in yourself and invest in your business first. When you have cash flow set to the side, I do think S&P 500 and real estate are probably the best ideas there.
So the S&P 500, just to be clear, is the top 500 companies on the planet that are publicly traded. And so the theory is, will they go from 2 trillion to 3 trillion, 3 trillion to 4 trillion, 4 trillion to 5 trillion? The answer is yes, by the way, because it's been going on for 92 years in a row.
Yeah.
If you think that iPhone 16 is coming, and iPhone 17, iPhone 18, if you think that General Electric and Amazon are going to get bigger, if you think Netflix will add more subscribers, you could just spread it out by investing in the S&P 500. Last set of questions. On the charity side, why should people attach philanthropy toward their personal brands?
So the number one reason for me is to help the charity. First off, my biggest one is probably animal rescue. In the end, you just don't understand how fortunate you are. If you make $32,000 a year, you are in the top 1% of wage earners on Earth. On Earth. You live on a planet where half the planet lives on $5 a day, and the 10 wealthiest men in the world have more money than the bottom 60% of humans on the planet. Yeah. You live in a time after the advent of antibiotics. You don't understand. Your life expectancy is so much higher, and you take it for granted.
I used to be 30 years old.
Yeah, I mean, when you consider antibiotics and dental care, how much it's changed the entire world, and you consider the wealthiest man in the world, Henry VIII, died of gout, which is something we could have cured today. I read this the other day. Syphilis had a 99% mortality rate before antibiotics. 99%. You have no idea how lucky you are. You are watching Dan and I at beams shot over satellites, and unless you're a flat earther and you don't believe in any of this, the beams shot over satellites at 186,282 miles a second. You have the unbelievable luck that you have. You're watching this right now for free on your phone with high-speed internet. You are amongst the wealthiest humans who have ever existed on the planet. The incredible, fortunate position that you're in. Of course, you need to invest in yourself and take advantage of the fact that you live in these times. Now, there's disadvantages. We've gotten so far away from a survival scenario that we're weak. Sure. Testosterone levels consistently decrease, and our water is polluted by estrogens and other things, plastic, stuff like that. There are negatives to living in this this modern technological society. But man, you got to have gratitude, man. If you don't understand, read Steven Pinker's book, the Enlightenment Now, or read the Singularity is Nearer by Rick Kurzweil, and you understand how unbelievably lucky you are to be living today, man. It's really, really fortunate.